What's going on, everyone? Tech Me Out here, and in this video we're going to be taking a look at what is on my iPhone 10. And maybe it's just me, but I don't know, I just find it really interesting to kind of get a glimpse at what people use day to day in terms of their apps, whether that be on an iPhone or an Android device. I just think it's really, I don't know, intriguing, so to speak, to see their app selection and the way that their layout might be on their phone, even on iPhones. So without any further ado, let's talk. Now, in terms of the configurations for, my phone itself, I have the space gray model, the 256 variant, and I also do use a case. I use the Apple leather folio case. I currently don't have it on my phone now though, simply because when I'm home, I just really want a more minimal feel, and I don't like having to deal with the whole, book kind of format and putting it behind the phone, all of that. So I take it out of the case, but when I'm out on the go, I love a wallet case because it gives me a case and a wallet option in one. So I'm gonna link that down below and a host of other things in which I'll be mentioning within this video. So let's go ahead and jump right on into this. First off, this wallpaper though. I'm in love with it, and I think the fact that this doesn't have a home button makes me appreciate it even more, because it then allows me to really have this kind of optical illusion type of vibe going on, where it's like I have my lock screen, but yet I can see like the internal components of my phone. I just really think it complements the screen of the iPhone 10, so that is the one I'm rocking, linked below. So I'm gonna sit over here. Hopefully my screen will be over here. I've attempted this like 3 or 4 times already, and yeah, long story short, let's hope this one works. So firstly, I use the Photos app for photos, of course. I actually use the default app for weather, so pretty stock here. But skipping that first row, moving into the second row, I use YouTube Studio. So for any of you out there that are like aspiring, YouTubers, definitely download this application. It's really gonna help you manage your analytics, manage your comments, all of that good stuff in reference to your videos. So this is basically where I go to communicate with all of you. I really like it because it's like a medium between, me and what I need to access on the back end of YouTube without having to per se hop on a computer. So I'm in and out of this application all day, every day. This is an essential app. Next to that is another essential application known as FANTASTICAL. And if you've been following my What's on my iPhone videos, you know this one has been in just about every one of them, and it's been that way for a reason. Now, the main thing I really like about this application is its layout. At the bottom, I have my week view, so I can get a nice glance at basically what I have ahead of me for the entire week. And then in the month view, you actually have specific colored dots that tie that event with its associated calendar. So I love that because it allows me to see, like, maybe on the 23rd I have something business related, and then on the 24th I have something personal related, all because of the color of the dot on the calendar. I'm able to tell that. With the default calendar, you just get one gray dot and that's it. Even if you have multiple events going on, one dot, no color reference. So I don't know, I feel like I get a more in-depth glance at my week ahead or month ahead with FANTASTICAL than I do the default calendar application. However, I do use the stock reminders application and notes app. Reminders to basically have my packing list, my grocery list, all those types of things that I need to get completed and things like that. My notes app, I really kind of use that like an electronic notebook. So I go in there, I jot down things I don't want to forget. I also use it to record things about a product in which I'm reviewing so that I don't forget to touch on certain things when I'm talking to you all in the video. So yeah, I either use that or I'll use Google Keep because I do bounce between, iOS and Android devices, and Google Keep is a little bit more universal when you're between platforms. So those are my note-taking apps of choice. But in regards to social media, I am also not only on YouTube, but Instagram, Snapchat, and Twitter. I'm gonna link that information down below, of course, in the description. But in short, my names on each of those is Tech Me Out, TECHME 0UT. So if you ever want to correspond with me a little bit more, or get some status updates on, upcoming videos, or get a behind the scenes of videos in progress, that is where it can be done at. For navigation, I use Google Maps. So yeah, I just find it to be a little bit more reliable for me overall, and a better experience thus far. But I do wish it gave me, the little taps and notifications for turns and such like Apple Maps does. But You gotta sacrifice some things. And for music, I use Spotify. I did try the free version, but I had to go back to the premium option, as I don't know, I guess I got accustomed to being able to search for songs and things like that on the fly. But overall, I really like the playlist options there, as well as the interface in itself. So that's what I use. Then moving down to my dock, I think these are like my 4 most commonly used applications in this area. So all stock apps, nothing really to talk about there. But moving to the second page, what I've done here is on the left-hand side, I have all of my folders. And then to the right of that, I have my, other, I guess, so to speak, commonly used applications. Starting with my smart tech folder, in here, I have all of my smart home tech that I need to communicate with, from, my Kenmore washer and dryer to my Ring floodlight cam, my Norton Core. All of those things can be found within there. And then I have my clock app, self-explanatory. I use the Files app to manage my documents. I also use Nighttime. That is basically what I use as my bedside clock every night. So I pretty much just, dock my phone and then use that. I like it because you can actually adjust the brightness of the time. You can change the color of it. It's very simple and it just gives you what you need in a very minimal form factor. So I really like that. Moving to my next folder, my shopping folder. This is basically all of my, I guess, shopping related applications. So I have my Verizon to manage my account, Retail Me Not to get those coupons, Fandango to get movie tickets, see what movies are playing, all of that. I am a movie buff, so that is where I do all of my movie buffing. I know that's not a word, but that's where I handle all my movie related things. And then I also use IQ Boxy. This is basically where you can come and manage all of your receipts, especially for all of my business owners out there. If you need an app that's gonna allow you to manage your purchases and things that you've made, and differentiate them from your personal purchases to your work purchases, and then create a spreadsheet from that. I mean, just overall, it's a very robust bookkeeper in your pocket. So I really like it for those reasons. And then you always will have, a picture copy of your receipts as well in the event you lose them. So it's a nice way to make your paper receipts digital for safekeeping. And then I also use Pages. That's basically what I use for my documents. Parcel Track to track my packages as they make their way here. I was using Deliveries, but then in using Android a bit more, I noticed that it didn't cross over to the Android platform, so I use Parcel Track. And then on top of that, Deliveries stopped giving me like my push notifications for some reason, even though in the settings it was configured to do so. Like, it just wasn't properly updating me on the status of my packages. So yeah, I kind of let that one go and then checked out Parcel Track for those reasons. And then I have my lifestyle folder. I just have like my Bitmoji app in here and some other apps like Go Watch It and Invoice to Go that I downloaded, but quite honestly haven't really checked out to speak on it, but nonetheless they're in there. I also have my extras folder. There's nothing really in here worth sharing outside of SwiftKey. So I love the fact that it has this little swipe gesture here, which is really responsive. Sometimes though, it doesn't properly predict the word in which I'm clearly swiping over, but I find that I prefer to still have the option to swipe than to not swipe. And then on top of that, when you tap on the emoji key, it'll show you your frequently used emojis and popular emojis that you might be trying to use and things like that. And then you can also customize the way your keyboard looks. So I like the dark theme. I think it ties in nicely with the black iPhone here, but you can make it another color as well in the event you don't like that. So yeah. Then I have my Amazon app. I love Amazon. If you are not new to the channel, at least I gets it in on Amazon. So then I have the DJI Go 4 app. I use that to fly my DJI Spark. And then I have a few games. Haven't really actually played these games, but I will be diving a little bit further into those. Then I use Hue to manage my lights, Filmic Pro to record with my iPhone when I'm out on the go, because it gives me a lot more robust options that you typically don't have in the default camera app. So you can do things like, separately select, your focus, your exposure, and then you can also adjust your white balance. You can even choose which microphone you want to use to record your audio when you're shooting your video. So it's just a lot of options in there. It's a paid app. I think it's like $10, but it's definitely worth it, especially if you're trying to, get a little bit more in terms of video recording options from your phone. Next to that, I have Jiffy. I use that for all of my GIFs and my memes. The selection is great. Sometimes it takes a little while for your GIFs to load, but overall I really like it. And then you can also favorite your GIFs so that you have quick access to them. And it also works as an app within iMessages so that you don't have to leave your messaging application to simply find a GIF to use within your conversation. Next up, I have my photography folder. So these are some apps in which I use to further enhance my pictures. One of my favorite apps in here is Lens Distortion. I actually used that recently on a photo on Instagram, but it allows you to add these little photo glares to your pictures so that it gives it a more cool effect that I feel is a little bit more eye-catching with it than it is without it. But each scenario is different. You can't use it on every photo, I'll say. I use Snapseed for editing purposes, Prisma to add a little bit more oomph to a photo in terms of a cartoon effect, and Visco also for editing. Outside of that though, I have my Harmony app, as I do have the Harmony Elite Hub to control my TV and my lights and some other things that I have in here. And then Hangouts, of course, to talk to people. And then my August app to control my lock. So I'm gonna be doing a video though on the best HomeKit accessories. That is still in the works, so stay tuned for it. But yeah, those are all the apps that I'm currently using on my iPhone 10. I know I'm fairly stock or whatever, but I'm curious to know what is one application in which you would recommend that I check out. So drop that down below in the comments section. And as always, thanks for taking the time out to let me tech you out.